To a new session, and today we will work on another problem from LeetCode, and it is about isomorphic strings. First of all, come here, learn about isomorphic strings. It says two strings are considered isomorphic if there is a one-to-one mapping between their characters, where each character is one string where each character in one string can be replaced with a corresponding character in a different in the other string to create a valid mapping. Crucially, all occurrences of a character must map to the same character, and no two different characters can map to the same character. So these are all important details about the isomorphic strings. So now let's learn what the question says. It says, given two strings S and T, determine if they are isomorphic. So now you know which kind of strings are isomorphic. So it says two strings S and T are isomorphic if the characters in S can be replaced to get T. That means if you map all the characters in the first string to the second string, there should be no two characters getting mapped to one character in a second string. So here, for example, we have an example. The first string is egg, the second string is add, and they are considered isomorphic. It returns true. Why? Because you can map E to A. Here it is explained. The string S and T can be made identical by mapping E to A and G to D. But here, in this example, food, foo, and bar, this is not isomorphic. Why? Because if you map F to B, O to A, then O to R, here is the problem, that here it says, well, first O is mapped to A, then O cannot get mapped to a different character also. O can get mapped only to one character. So that is why it is not an isomorphic string. So how we can solve this problem? There are different solutions for this. And I came up with a solution that I think may be more comprehensive and more easy to track the steps that when you're solving the problem. So I will put them in two different objects and then map each character side by side. For example, consider the example E. I would put them in an object like this. Okay, this one, and okay, my drawing is not good, but you can make beautiful drawings. So let me, I can map, for example, E to A, G to D, and G to D. So while we are checking all characters in the first string against the second string, we have to check the reverse order also. Let me make it a bit more like this. That's duplicate. Ouch. So for example, A to E and D to G, also this D to G. So we have to check all of them like this, all in both characters, in both strings. Each character has to get mapped with only one character in the second string. But if you consider this example, for example, let me make a copy of this once more, duplicate. Okay. So here, if, for example, B to A, B bar to F foo, and A to O, also R to O, and here same thing with this, all characters of second string, F to B, and O to A, again O to R. You already see the problem here. For example, here it says in the first character you are good. For example, A points to O, and as soon as you come here, you see R also points to O, and here also O points to A and O points to R. So once you check that O points to A, and the second time when you check O, it says that it is mapped to R. So that is when you find out it is not isomorphic. So now let's write a code to implement this approach using these two objects, and compare each character against each character in the second string. So if there are not any characters pointing to different characters, that means that is isomorphic. But if you find out that there are some characters in their position, for example, the character in first position of the first string points to a character in another position of the second string, that means that is not isomorphic. So first let's create two objects. I use map one for the checking the first element against second string S against string T, and the second one is string T against string S. So map st equals new map, and one more map, this for ts, new map. So now let's iterate or loop through each character of this string and check it against each character of the second string, and put them in those two maps and compare them against one another. If you come across any scenario where one character in first position of the first string is pointing to a different character in the second string, that means that is not isomorphic. So you say for let I equals 0, I is until less than s dot length length. Actually here you can check one condition. The first condition that you check is that both strings should have the same length. If they don't have the same length, then you don't need to go through all those calculations and operations. You immediately know that this is not an isomorphic string. So say if s dot length length is not equal to t dot length length, return false. So now when you are looping through each character in the first string and checking them against the second string, then you check if they exactly get mapped to one character or not. So first that you are in this character. So first check if it is already mapped or not. So you say if map st dot has, check if it is already mapped or not, like the ACI. First check if it is already mapped or not. If it is mapped, then check is it mapped to the first character of T or not. If it is not mapped against T, against A, for example, first character of T, that means it is not isomorphic. So check if map is T, if it is already mapped, and map st dot get ACI. Check if it is not equal to map ts dot get ti, the first element in the string T. If it is not mapped to this character, that means it is not an isomorphic string. So you check this against the string T also. So you say either this condition is not met, or check the second one, or map ts dot has ti and map ts dot get ti, and check if it is mapped against the first character of first string or not. If it is not mapped with that, map st dot get si, return false. Return false. Otherwise, map this character against the first character of the second string and put them in both of those objects. Map st dot set ACI, put T at the position of SI, put TI, and also map TS dot set at the position TI, put ACI. And so if this conditions met, finally return true. Return true. So I hope it was clear enough. Now let's run this and see what happens. Okay, so line 12 in solution, unexpected token. Oh, so let's, I think we may have 4. So we have to increase I. That was not an error. Okay, wrong answer. Only the second one is true. So let's see why characters are not mapped against one another. Because there are two sets, we may have made some mistakes somewhere. So let me have some more space here. So okay, let I equals 0, I less than s dot length I plus plus. Map has ACI, that means E, if it is already mapped or not, and map st dot get ACI. When you get the value of ACI, it has to get A, but if it is not A, map ts dot get ti. Oh, I think this doesn't make. So here we are trying to see if there's E that we get here, its value should be A. Oh, map ts dot get ti. Okay, that's fine. So get ACI, and if it is not equal to map ts, oh, now I get. Here we are trying to compare E with A. I don't know why I am trying to get the value of ti from this object. So that is the error. There we only, my explanation was true, but here the typing, the coding had some errors. So okay, for example, we are trying to check if this E is mapped to A or not. That means ti. So okay, and all of them passed. Okay, I hope it was clear enough, the explanation at least. If any part is not clear enough, you can add them in your comment, ask any questions. I will read your comments and I will come to answer your questions. Until the next problem that I will solve from LeetCode, have a nice time.